Alright guys, I've got a 10-5 game on the board against an opponent rated 1170 and I'm going to play the Scandinavian. I've been having mixed results recently with the French defence, so this is a live game. So I thought I'd go back to the Scandinavian. One thing I like about the Scandi is that with E4 players, you immediately take them out of their familiar comfort zone. Okay, so I can grab the pawn now. I can't develop my other knight. I can bring out, let's bring out a bishop and pin his knight. There's no rush to recapture this pawn. I've gained tempo by having my opponent capture the pawn, so I don't want to give that up at this point. Okay, so I can retake now. I can capture with the queen. Let's capture with the queen. Then if the knight moves, you see I'm hitting g2. Now I'm thinking about knight c6 and castles. What do we expect from a player rated 1100 to 1200? Well, that's a reasonable move. I don't want to move my queen all the way back. I'm going to move my queen back to here. I'm not afraid of this because I can block it either with a knight or a pawn. Okay, and we have d4. Okay, so he's taking a claim in the centre. I'm going to develop my knight just anyway. So I want a castle. Let's just castle. So I've got 1, 2, 3 attackers against that pawn. There's 1, 2, 3 defenders. I could take out a defender there, then I could grab the pawn. There's no point playing that. Pawn takes queen. No. Just play e6. Maybe bishop to b4, attacking this knight. So he's played a solid game so far. Might even play my bishop to here. Looking down at h2. And think about throwing my pawns up the board. Okay, that's on the quiet side. I think that makes this move better though, because now the knight's pinned against the rook. Not sure of the purpose of that move. I could drop my bishop back and instantly harass this queen. But the queen can go there or there. So there's not much value in that. It's kind of half-hearted attack. Okay, let's just throw some pawns in now. Little dash of pawns in the mix. Okay, he's kicking the bish. Let's drop the bishop back to here. We've both done a good job of development now. Both kings are castled, all the minor pieces are out in the board, nothing has been traded off apart from the original pawns. So now we are in the middle game proper. Now I'm thinking I do want to move this bishop, at some point. Let's move the bishop, give the queen something to think about. If the queen comes here, I've got a6. Queen comes here. Okay, queen's moved back. Right, I'm going to throw another pawn in. No, I'm not. Not all that way. That's actually undefended square. So, I'm going to play rook e8. That's not really a move with much purpose. I was also thinking about this. Okay. Okay, move the knight back. My knight wants to be over this side of the board, so there's no point moving it like back here or back here. I might also block off this pawn at some time. Okay, so I've got one attacker, which is the queen. Alright, let's reinstate this bishop to there. Pinning the knight down. Now I have bishop rook e4, knight. The horsey ones are the knights. Basic chess, guys, basic. Okay, so now if I attack the queen with a knight, he can't retake. So now I have also two attackers on that knight. So if the queen moves anywhere, I can grab the knight with either the bishop or my knight. This is just a tactic that appeared from nowhere. But it started with spotting the pin. So he plays that and I think, oh, there goes my bishop, look. There's a pin. A pin isn't a huge threat in itself, it's a potential danger for later on. And then I noticed, well, hey, look at this. I can attack both pieces. Both the valuable piece that's being pinned, that's behind the pin, and the pinned piece itself. I can attack both of those. So rook comes across, now we have an attack. Now my opponent's really having to think. The queen has to move. He doesn't have any checks on the board. And when the queen moves here, I can capture the knight with a discovered attack on the queen. If the queen moves here, I capture with a knight, and I've got a fork on the rook and the queen, so I win even more material that way. Okay, let's do that one. There weren't that many choices either, really. Because if the queen moved to here, I would have captured with a queen and double attacks there as well. So let's grab the rook. Okay, this pawn is pinned. My bishop is currently under attack by the queen. I could defend it with that knight, but then what if c4? I could just drop my bishop back here. Oh no, c4 isn't an option because it drops the queen. The c4 pawn is pinned, it can't move. Alright, so forwards is generally better than backwards. I want to keep on the front foot, I want to keep the pressure on my opponent. I don't want to be retreating unless I absolutely have to retreat. But I think, bishop to here is not going to be a bad move. Right, do I want to capture his bishop? Maybe drops my bishop, but then I capture a pawn. Let's see what he does. If he captures the knight, it kind of weakens his king a little bit. Okay, so he's gone for that one. This bishop's still under threat. Options. A5 isn't good because he's got an en passant. I could drop the bishop back. I could push my queen forward to defend the bishop. Just push the queen forward. See previous response. Forwards, generally better than backwards. Oh, that pawn can come up now. Okay. So the knight is threatening f7 with a fork. So I think, yeah, I'll just have to move my rook across. Then I could push f6 and kick the knight back. Okay. Okay, so he's now got two attackers. So he's threatening queen takes, if queen takes, rook takes queen, and he's won himself a bishop. So I'm going to drop back now. Because it's the right move to do. Sometimes backwards is the right way. When all other things are equal, forwards is better. So what's the situation? I've got the bishop pair, and I've got two rooks to his one. So I'm up an exchange. No, I'm not. I'm up a rook, really. Yeah. So this, I think, was a mistake because I can capture with the bishop and it hasn't really weakened me. You could push that, then I simply recapture, or do I? Ooh, is that clever? Is it clever? It might be clever. If I capture that pawn, I'm attacking his queen and there. And if either of the pieces take, I can just grab the that pawn with my bishop. Or I can allow him to capture the bishop, and I recapture, say, with the A pawn. I kind of like this move. Bishop takes there. Queen takes bishop. Bishop takes pawn. It gets me out of trouble and gets rid of this A pawn in my side. Pawn in my side, you know that's all you ever were. Okay, let's grab the pawn now. So I've given up some material, but not much. I'm still actually 5 material points in front. I'm still... Yeah, I've got 3 more pawns now than white. And I'm up the exchange. Got thoughts about this, but it's not too bad because it would pin this pawn. Okay, let's just drop the bishop back. I'm not too scared now. There's no pawns, you see, now that can attack my bishop. I'm okay for pawns. So what's he going to do? He's not going to drop his bishop in. I think we should be pretty safe. Now I want to kick this knight away. I want to get rid of this fella. What's the threat there? He's got a check. I'm just going to block him. Let's see what he comes up with. Bishop moves there, I can take. Then queen takes. So he's doing a decent job of getting some counterplay. I mean, I haven't really launched an attack yet. I just won some material with tactics, thanks to a pin and a fork. Still want to kick this knight away. The knight is too close to my king for comfort. I want to get it out. But then it's going to go here, isn't it? Maybe that's not ideal. He might go there anyway. He's got to move his bishop first. Hopefully he'll move his bishop there. Then his knight hasn't got that square. I kick the knight and the knight has to go back here somewhere. 6 minutes on the clock. I think definitely f6 is what I want to do next. The imbalances in the game are, I've got 2 rooks, he has a knight, I don't have a knight, and I've got more pawns. So I want to use my pawns here, kind of offensively, really get them moving up towards the king. These pawns are kind of stuck, a bit isolated in the middle. If we was to move this one, I've got takes with check, you see. So that's not going to happen. Or I could just capture it as well. Okay, so he's moved to there. Now if I attack the knight can come back to here. I've also got slight ideas about bringing my bishop back, then kick the knight, and then I've got queen in there. Boom! That could be cool. But the bishop's defending this pawn. I can't move the pawn because the pawn's defending the bishop as well. So that's not an idea just yet. I don't think I want to kick that knight. I don't want the knight just to go there. I mean, it might go there anyway. If I put bishop there and queen takes, then queen a8 would be mate with this knight still there. So I'm going to... Look, I'm up in material. I'm going to let him swap off the knight if that is his wish. So if knight here, I'll just drop my queen back. Knight takes bishop, pawn takes bishop. Then if queen comes down, I can get out of the way. Okay, he's swapped his rook for my bishop. That is a surprise. His knight is still under threat. He's got a check, but it's half a check because I've got king c7. Then his queen would be under attack and his knight would be under attack. That was a surprise. This move. Rook captures. Okay. And this is the point where things get sharp, and you have to say to yourself, calm down. It's all right. So the knight is also attacking this pawn. I think the obvious move is queen c7. Now, is there anything wrong with that? Queen comes down, king still has an escape. No, I think we're all right. He's got a check there, queen takes. He's got a check there, king moves. I'd like to get my king off the back rank now, I think. No, I don't want to be pre-moving. So, a king over here would feel a lot more secure. Then my rooks can, this rook can slide over to the open file with check ideas and stuff like that. I'm very much up in material, and I'm up in pawns. I also have a quite nasty threat of pawn to b5, forking these two pieces. So we'll see what white does now. I'm kind of expecting queen to a8, but it's not a danger. So if queen goes there, king goes there, knight hasn't got that square and hasn't got that square, so the knight hasn't got checks, the bishop hasn't got checks. I don't really see any danger. Three and a half minutes on the clock for white. I have over 5. See, if he doesn't move either of these pieces, I've got this fork, which should win material. Fork there, queen there moves, and then the knight runs away, so it doesn't actually. You can get out of a fork if you can move one of the attacked pieces with check. Okay, so he's done that, king moves. No brainer. Now the queen's under attack. So the queen has to move, and has to move back up the A file. And these two squares are out. So it's got to be one of the other 5. There we go. And now what do we do? Now let's attack the queen again. Can't go there because the queen's covering it. Can't go there because the king's covering it. Can't go there, can't go there. And now I'm threatening also to drop my rook into A1 with attacks on the king. Right, so if I can cover that square, then there may be ideas. So for now, I'm just going to keep the pressure on. Does the knight have any checks? Nothing significant. I have to bear in mind that my king and my knight are in this kind of lengthened knight's move thing, which means that the knight does have 2 squares where it could have gone to from there with check. This is just retrograde for me. I don't see the point of that. I'm just going to keep the pressure on. I'm going to try and get my pawns on light squares and just close down this bishop. Right now, king safety is the only thing that matters. I'm up on the clock. Okay, he's got knight to here now. And he's attacking my pawn. So I'll go there. I'll let him put his knight on here. Okay. And now I can wriggle my king away. You know, if I go there, there's a fork. So actually, I'm going to go in here. Out of harm's way. You see, my first instinct was to go to this square, but then you've got knight g6 with a fork. And I'd have lost my rook. That would not have been catastrophic at all for me to lose the rook for a knight, because I am far enough ahead in material. Okay, I think I'm just going to push that pawn. And he's proved that he's done himself no favours by putting his own pawn on e4. Now the bishop physically cannot get through that little barrier there. Well, I like the way he's playing. If he pushes this pawn, I've got queen to... Oh, I dropped a pawn. I did. Dropped a pawn. Right, now I've got ideas. So I'm going to play rook there with check. The king's going to move here. Now I'm going to move my queen across to here. Or here. Okay, no major threat. So my idea is now rook f8 with a pin on the queen. Does he spot that? 2.5 minutes, tick tock, tick tock. Is he going to spot it? Pin on the queen should win the queen. the knight and the king are now on opposite coloured squares, which means the knight cannot move with check. If the knight and the king were on the same colour squares, depending on where they are, if the king was on here, the knight could move to a light square with the check on the dark square. When the knight and the king are on opposite colours, there can't be a check on the next move. 2 minutes now. I think my opponent's played pretty well. If the knight moves, I've got queen takes d4 with check as well. So it's definitely a very tricky situation for white. White does have just enough material with which to win the game. You know, with a queen still on the board and a knight and a bishop, there are opportunities there. I'm thinking rook to here. Rook to there, and then he's got knight there with check, hasn't he? So now I'm going to just move my king here, again just to frustrate him. No, I can't move it there, it's in check. Right, what are we doing then? Let's throw in a check, just to be cheeky and cause trouble. Let's throw in another check. Checkmate, there you go. Didn't see that until I played it. So obviously both these pawns are defended, they're attacking all these three squares, and my rook's attacking there. So very, very nice ending there. I thought my opponent played some good moves in that, played some dynamic chess, developed well, just fell for some tactics in the middle of the game. You know, let's just work through it very quickly. So modern Scandinavian, good, he develops his knight. He's not concerned about trying to defend that pawn, which is the right thing. I grab. There's a pin, right? So here I want to develop my bishop because I want to connect my rooks, right? And here I've got the opportunity, I can develop it as like d6, which is quiet, or here, which comes with the benefit of a pin. Now, queen moves in, start pushing pawns, attacks, retreats, attack the queen, queen moves back. And now, because the queen has moved to this square and there is a nice pocket on that square, it's inviting the knight to come in. But the knight doesn't go in yet because, well, we've got knight takes and whatever. However, later on, the tactic comes in. Now, bang, because of a4, that weakens this square. Now the bishop comes in. So the pin is now restored. Okay? He misses the threat. Now, I can see what he's trying to do. He's thinking, okay, that's a potential attacker. I'm going to kick the attacker away. But misses this. Now the queen moves. Was that the best move? I mean, maybe there would have been better. I'm not sure. I think this one would have been problematic because I capture with another fork with the bishop. But there loses the knight. Now the queen must move. And now he goes down the exchange as well. So he's now down a full rook, and that's a massive material difference. There you go. So there's a rapid game against somebody rated between 1100 and 1200. All good examples. I hope you've picked up one or two things from this game. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to Chess Bootcamp. We're here to help beginners and improvers to get above 1000 rating points and beyond. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.